All right, everyone. Welcome back. Episode 5 here, SportsBook Sports, all things sports betting. I am your host, Conor, with my boy here, GA.
What's going on? Welcome to episode 5.
Yes, sir. Feels good, keeping this flowing. I'm happy that we've been able to stick to it, get our picks out for everyone to see.
Yep.
Today, it's going to be a little bit, I think, quicker of an episode compared to the past. We're really just trying to hop on more frequently so we can get our picks out to our viewers. I think our strategy from last episode worked in our favor.
Ever evolving, where we keep kind of refining what we're doing, and then we try to scale it back a little bit.
Yeah,
make it more true to what we actually do on a daily basis.
Exactly. I think that's more of what we learned over the first couple episodes. Is we were trying to just give our viewers a little bit more content than anything and give them just picks in general. We were just trying to throw shit on the wall and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
But that's not even how we truly bet.
No.
Nope. I think we're very conservative in our betting. We stick to our units. We play our games that we want to pick, whether it's a long shot or not. Like we do, occasionally we'll throw parlays out there.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing too that as we get going with this is just being authentic.
Yeah.
So I'm $100 better. We talk about finding our units, sticking to our units, sticking to a process. We talked about reverse line movement a couple episodes ago. That's something we look at every single day. But then one of the things that we kind of got away from was we felt the need to just give out a pick for every single game.
Yeah, for every matchup.
That. If we don't like a matchup, we're not betting it. So I think, last night we kind of peeled it back a little bit, and it worked out well.
Yeah, I had a good night. And to your point, the way I normally bet is I'm 100 to 250 per game better. I normally will bet more when I'm playing with house money. That's just how I roll. I press a little bit more when I'm up money. Sometimes it works in my favor. Sometimes it backfires. Those times I keep going on a roll, though, it just builds up even quicker.
Yeah, I think for us, too, I'll always speak for myself. It depends on the sport.
Oh, 100%.
For football, NFL football, you say I'll get up to 250, 500 or whatever it is.
College football
for sure.
And college basketball, I'd say, are my two.
Especially when we start seeing something. I think last year we were on Coastal Carolina every week.
Oh, yeah.
So when we start seeing like that, we'll get into all that stuff. And when those season comes up, just kind of how we go about it when we think we found something and it just keeps going well. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but you're saying how to capitalize on it. So this way, at the end of the season, your bankroll's at a lot higher spot than it would be if you just went in and week out.
Definitely. And I was going to say, to be authentic, I think we put all our picks out there and we were honest. We were transparent.
Yeah.
I had a terrible fucking day. The one day I went 1 for 7.
Yeah.
I hit the one good player prop parlay that was plus like 2 something.
Yeah.
So that gave me a little bit of the money back. But truthfully, if you follow us and you'll see over time when we play our high value picks, I think it's been proven to both of us, we win more than we lose.
Yep.
When we get that into that degenerative mode where we start throwing shit everywhere and we think it's just, we're going to win, that's just not the way it works. So
also part of this podcast, again, to be 100% transparent, is for us just to talk about it every night.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it helps just talking it out. It helps being able to bounce your picks off people. So we do it through, friends and group chats. We do it talking throughout the day, but hopefully once we get this YouTube thing going and we get a community here with people, we'll have something going where people can just talk about picks all day long, whether it's a Discord chat, Facebook group, whatever it might be. Just Twitter. So if you're on social media, find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram. Let us know what you're picking tonight because we want to hear it. There's a lot of things going on in the NBA, so we kind of want to hear your input on what you guys see on the board tonight.
Exactly. And I think we could sort of bounce right into that as far as what our picks were from yesterday.
Yep.
Greg, I think you went overall, or is this tonight's pick we're gonna jump right into?
Yeah, it looks like this kind of didn't work right.
Okay.
So these are our picks for tonight. But last night we both had great nights.
Yep.
I leaned heavy on the favorites. So I had the Suns, which wasn't even really close.
Blowout winner. Yeah,
and I also had the Nuggets, and I got to be honest, like I was sweating that game left and right, watching the way Damian Lillard was playing.
Yeah, that was
I mean, I think first quarter, first half, they were up a ton.
Yeah.
And, I think first quarter Denver was crushing it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is looking good. And then just throughout the game, slowly but surely.
Yeah, they
kept fighting back.
They were up, I think it was 10-0 right off the rip.
Yeah, they won the first quarter 38-25.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, these fucking playoffs, especially this year and I think the last couple of years, where's the defense?
Like, I know. Well, it's just the NBA as a whole, I feel like.
Yeah, but where's like the competitiveness? Like these guys are too. That's one thing that I take from back in the old school days where I agree that today's talent level is like on another level.
Yeah, across the whole NBA is more talented.
Depth-wise, for sure.
Of course.
But they just don't have that like fierce competitiveness or that passion to play the game that people used to have back in the day, and that's one thing that I dislike about today's game. I mean, 287 points.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
It's insane. It's tough because I agree with you in that sense, but I also feel like there are some players in the NBA, especially when I think about like Caruso on the Lakers.
Yeah,
he kind of got his way. Like Dellavedova, how do you say his name? Dellavedova. He was kind of like that too. Like, they carved their way into the NBA through effort and through defense and through that type of play. But to your point, I feel like, a few years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there was, every team had a defensive guy.
Yeah.
That was like a lockdown guy or just a hard guy to go. You can't go into the paint because they got so-and-so.
Exactly.
And nowadays, I mean, obviously there's some people who pride themselves on defense. But there's not as many lockdown guys. I mean, I would say Jimmy Butler and Leonard.
He would
Kawhi.
fit. Yeah, he'd fit in
Those
that
would be
old
the
school
two
play.
guys.
I mean, I'm not complaining about that game because I had Aaron Gordon over 11.5 points.
Yep.
So when you put up 147 as a team, if your third or fourth best option doesn't get you at least 10, I think he ended up with 14.
Which was close for a double overtime game.
Exactly, but I'll take it because it was going to add up to be some numbers. So that's a win on the board for me there.
And then what else did we have last night? I think I had the over in the Brooklyn-Boston game.
Yep,
and we were kind of talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about that kind of when we were doing the episode about locking in bets. That's something that takes you from being a basic bettor to more advanced bettor.
Yep.
Is understanding line movement, understanding which way the line is moving.
Yep.
And I got the bet a little earlier in the day. I think it's still missed. I think when I gave it out, by the time I gave it out, I think I missed by 3 or 4 points.
What did you end up taking? You took the over?
I took the over.
I think you might have hit.
I might have hit during the day. I don't think so.
I think when you got the bet in, you got it at 231.
Okay.
And I think it came in at 232.
Okay.
So, yeah, you hit.
You hit there, but
if you
that's
remember,
right. That's right.
Remember what we talked about yesterday is I was dead on with that, too. I said it was going to come right in between that 3 or 4 point margin.
If you middled it.
Yeah, you could have hedged it.
You could have double winner.
Yeah, you could have bet, the over early on in the day and then the under later in the day and you hit. I mean, I had KD to hit 3+ threes and the Nets to win, and I don't know what was going on with that line. I mean, granted, it took KD to the fourth quarter to hit that, but he ended up hitting 4 threes. Nets won in
he was 4 for 6.
Yeah, Nets won in a blowout type game. It wasn't really competitive, even though the score was close. They had control of the game, but that was plus 190 odds. Easy money overall.
Yep.
And yeah, you did take it at 2. You got it at 231.5. Actually, I remember.
So it hit by half a point.
Yeah, and you got that, and that's straight up to your point. You took it on early in the day because you saw the value in the over, and the line just kept moving in your favor.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's good handicapping overall.
Yeah, it comes with just knowing kind of what you want, looking at the way the line's moving. And sometimes it's just getting lucky. Sometimes you just get a little lucky sometimes. Sometimes you don't get lucky.
You hit by that half point, so
you'll
take it for what it is.
Yep. So that was kind of recapping yesterday's picks. I kind of want to get into tonight's matchups. We've got 4 games tonight.
Yep.
Some of them I think are going to be pretty good. Some of them, it's been tough. It's been tough for the Knicks. So that's the first matchup tonight. The Knicks are going to the Hawks. Or no, the Hawks are going to the Knicks. It's in Madison Square Garden, 7:30 on TNT. Atlanta's up 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
The Knicks are the home team. They're the favorite. They're -1. The over-under's 208.5. This is another one where we gave out the over-under last game was 209. And I was on the under, and it hit exactly 209.
209, yep.
So if you put it here, if you put it on through FanDuel at the exact time that I gave it out, you would have pushed on that, which is okay. But again, if you shop your line a little bit, if you got it at a little bit of a better time,
Yep.
you might have had it at 208.5. You might have cashed that ticket. So
Yeah. And to your point there, I mean, that just shows, as we've mentioned a million times, how good Vegas is at their job. Like,
yeah.
you see it often enough where you're just like, how the fuck do they come up with these numbers and just hit it right on the dot? You know?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It happens way too often. But tonight's game, I mean, I saw what RJ Barrett had to say, and he says it's a guaranteed win tonight.
Yeah,
I just
he's
don't
bugging.
know. Yeah, I think that's just inexperience talking,
Yeah.
for one, being so young in the league. I mean, I just don't know how you can come out and say that after you just got dominated 3 of the 4 games of the series so far.
Yeah, I mean, even the game that they won, they kind of got dominated in the first half.
Oh yeah, they shouldn't have won that game.
So, I think that it really...
The Hawks just went cold in
Yeah.
the second half.
Yeah.
That was the game I was talking about yesterday when I was saying the Knicks had a terrible second half.
Yeah.
If you go to the box score of that game,
Yeah, it's
game two,
yeah.
I think the Hawks had like 35 points in the second half.
Yeah.
It was like 18 in the third quarter and 17 in the fourth. And I took the Hawks that game.
Yep.
And because everyone was on the Knicks, and it just didn't work in my favor. I mean,
Yep.
they should have won the game, but they just couldn't hit. They couldn't throw fucking the ball in the ocean in the second half.
Yeah, personally, I think this series is over. I mean,
Yeah.
I like the Hawks. I talked about it yesterday, so I don't have it on my list, but I am going to give it out. I like the Hawks to win the East.
Yeah.
For a few reasons, and really it's matchups. Mm-hmm. They're playing the 76ers the next round.
Yep.
We know Embiid's hurt now, so I don't think the 76ers are scary at all without Embiid.
Yeah.
Yesterday when I gave it out, it was 1,900. Today, when I'm giving it out again, it's 1,400. So
Yeah.
you lost again. Talk about when you're putting in bets, the line movement. You lost
In
500
one day.
points there in one day.
Yeah.
Because Embiid was hurt. We all knew Embiid was hurt. So that's the other thing too. Like when you see something in the league, like you have to be fast.
Yeah.
It's tough to be faster than Vegas. So when you see something like Embiid go down, who's hurt every single year,
Yeah.
has injury issues,
Yeah.
you saw how hard he hit the ground and the way he reacted. Even if he's not technically hurt, he doesn't have a tear or something like that, he's banged up.
Well, that's what's crazy is the way he fell.
I thought he hurt his back.
Yeah, they were saying like his tailbone and stuff like that, and come to find out he has like a slight tear in his meniscus.
It is knee.
Which is just like, that's not something anyone imagined. And I truthfully, I mean, I played basketball before. I don't know how deep of a tear it is.
Yeah.
I don't think you can come back from that right
No.
now, unless you just want to play and just rip it even farther.
Right, and
You
just
know?
totally tear it.
Yeah,
and be out for the first half of next year.
They're calling him day to day, but I think they're on some Tom Brady Patriot shit where they just put him on the injured list every game.
Yeah.
And they say he's day to day, but he ain't coming back this year. I just don't.
Yeah.
He's too young to even risk that for the future. You know?
So I like it for that reason. I like it because they have the 76ers next round. I also like it because of the Embiid injury. I don't know how many games the series is going to go now that the 76ers are Washington.
That's true.
I think that Washington
They got a chance.
They're they're totally outmatched. Even without it, with Embiid, they're totally outmatched. Even without Embiid, they have some real problems on their roster.
Yeah, but they have a lot more of a. I think they're more of a matchup nightmare when you take Embiid out of the picture.
Well, yeah,
because they don't. Besides Embiid, who's their big man? Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Yesterday or 2 days ago they were playing with Mike Scott at the 5.
Yeah.
He's not ready to play those type of minutes yet. That's why I agree with you. I think Wizards have a shot to win tonight, and then they can push this game to 6-7 games.
Right. So now, hopefully, if Atlanta closes it out, you're done. You're resting,
Yep.
and you're waiting for Washington or waiting for the winner of Washington Philly. It's probably going to be Philly.
Yep.
They're already up 3-1, so you're kind of waiting for Philly. You get a little extra rest if you're the Hawks, and on top of that, the other series in the East is the juggernaut matchup. It really should be the Eastern Conference Finals.
True.
So, and they're already scheduled to play.
Yeah.
So they're playing. They're going to be going at it. Hopefully, if you're taking this bet, you're hoping it's going to be a long, grueling series.
Yep.
Where it goes 6-7 games and it's a fight every single night, and they just wear themselves out more. And you just hope the Hawks have an easy time with Philadelphia in the second round.
Definitely.
So,
and I know you got some picks on this game tonight, which we'll recap at the end.
Yep.
So we could just move on to the series we've been actually discussing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you, man. I think without Embiid on the floor, the Sixers are just not. They're not even close to the same team. I mean, they don't have. He's their playmaker. He's what their offenses ran through. He gets the ball at the middle of the court. And without him, it's other people having to step up that just maybe aren't used to that role, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think just you can only get so far with Tobias Harris. I mean, Tobias Harris is now your main scorer, and it's just not what you want. I mean, if you're running the offense through him, you know, it completely changes the way your team looks.
Definitely.
You're no longer banging in the paint like you were with Embiid. You're talking more of a finesse game.
Yeah.
More of a spot-up shooting game.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, they have the scorers. They have the people on their team that can put the ball in the hoop. It's just, are they ready to step up and get it done? Seth Curry can score the ball.
Yep.
Danny Green can shoot it.
Yeah, sometimes if he's in a Laker uniform, he has a tough time.
That's true. George Hill is decent. I mean, it's just dependent on what they can put together.
I do like that Maxley guy, too.
Tyrese Maxey.
I like
he's
him.
Young too. He's young though. Like, and when you match him up with he's got potential over the next couple of years to grow into something. But Ish Smith on the Wizards is just as good as him right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's a backup. I just think without Embiid, man, they don't got it.
Yeah.
And who knows where that game's gonna go tonight.
Yeah. So I mean, the 76ers. They're hosting the Wizards, so they're in Philadelphia. They're up 3-1, 7 o'clock game on NBA TV.
Yep.
They're trying to close out the series. They're -6 at home, and over/under's 229.5. I'm wondering what you think. Do your thoughts on the over/under change at all with Embiid not being in there?
No. I think I've been big on the over in this series.
Yeah.
Overall, I think tonight's going to be an all-star game down there.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think without Embiid, it might speed up the game a little bit.
Definitely.
I think the over is even more likely. If I'm going to lean one way, I might be leaning the over.
Well, I just don't think that the Sixers can play defense without him there. Beal and Westbrook, they like to attack.
Yeah.
Beal's a great shooter, but he's a downhill type player. Like, he likes to attack the rim and then later in the game settle on his jump shot and hit that when you're giving him space because he blew by you.
Yeah.
And then they also have the Hachimura guy. He can get to the rim. And without Embiid there being that presence, man, they're going to be tough to guard.
Yeah, I mean, the Wizards have scored 118, 95, 103, 122 in the last 4 games against Philly. I think they're closer to 122 than they are 95 tonight. I think they're gonna put the ball in the basket.
Like I said, I think tonight's gonna be an all-star game. I think it's gonna be 130 to 115. Both teams scoring in that range.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think the Wizards just know if you're these guys, you win tonight, you kind of catch them off guard a little bit because they just got the news about Embiid today. You catch them off guard in Philadelphia, you get it to 3-2, you go back home for Game 6.
Definitely. Get it
to 3-3, and now it's okay, we just got to win one game, Game 7, probably without Embiid again.
Yeah.
We're on to the next round.
I don't think they were expecting that, so they're going to definitely put a fight out tonight.
Yeah.
But are they going to have enough to actually get it done?
Yeah. All right, so that's it for the first 2 games. Those are kind of the early slate of games.
Yep.
Then on the later slate, you have Memphis, Utah. So that game is in Utah. It's game 5 for them. So it's Utah versus Memphis. It's 9:30 on NBATV. And the Jazz are up 3-1. I mean, Memphis was a play-in team.
Yep.
They made it through. The Jazz are 9.5-point favorites at home. Over/under is 226 for this game. I kind of, this is one of the games, I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday with Portland and the Nuggets. Like, I'm just having a tough time getting a read on this. Like, early in the series, I was like, I like Memphis. I love Memphis. But then since Mitchell's been back, I mean, I think Utah just looks like they're head and shoulders above them.
They are, 100%. I mean, that's the difficult part about the NBA. The regular season, sometimes those star players don't make the difference because, teams are traveling, teams are doing what they do. It's a rigorous schedule.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to playoff time, and you don't have your starters there, you don't have your main guy.
Yeah.
You're just not going to be able to compete no matter who you're playing. Like, it could be the 8 seed versus the 1 seed. I mean, you saw what happened with AD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have one of your main pieces. The NBA is too good, too talented to
the competition level is too close.
Yeah, you can't. Even if it's a 1 versus 8 seed, man. Like, the Grizzlies won game 1 without Donovan Mitchell, and they did that pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
And they've been keeping it close, these games.
Yeah.
But
none of them have been a blowout. At least I don't think. But, yeah, what I like, too, about this one, too, is that Jordan Clarkson's been stepping up for them.
Yeah, 6th man of the year.
Yeah, and I think the first couple games, I think he was a little shy to the basket. I guess just trying to find his groove a little bit. But now that the whole unit's back, everyone kind of knows their role and what they're doing. He's been playing much better.
Yeah, and I'll give a shout out to Jordan Clarkson because I'll be honest, man, I used to hate his game.
Yeah.
Because I used to just think he was a fucking chuck.
Yep.
But these last 2 years, really, I don't know what happened in the bubble.
Yeah.
But he was balling there.
Yep.
And it's translated to this year. So I got to put my hat off to him. And he's definitely stepped it up. And he's well deserved for the 6th man this year. I mean, he's one of the main reasons the Jazz are as good as they are.
Yeah, I mean, 52 wins in the regular season.
Yeah.
That's just night in and night out. They were playing great throughout the whole year.
Yeah, just balling out. I mean, they're a tough team.
Yeah, so this was going to be interesting. I'm interested on your thoughts when we get to the picks on this one. But for now, let's just recap the late night game. That's Dallas.
Dallas Clippers.
Yeah, but they're going to the Clippers.
Yeah.
So this series has been completely black and white for me. It's been all Dallas the first 2 games, really all Clippers the next 2 games. So they're in LA for this one. Series is tied 2-2. It's 10 o'clock on TNT. Clippers have been favorites, I think, every game, but the spread just keeps moving up for them.
Yeah.
So they're minus 7.5 now. 217.5 is over. Again, all our lines that we give out, everything we talk about is on FanDuel.
Yes, sir.
So that's who we use for everything.
FanDuel, baby.
But yeah, I think that the momentum has changed in the series to the Clippers, and I think the Clippers just ride it out. I think that they're the higher seed for a reason. They're more experienced in these types of situations, whether it's the coach, whether it's the players, and I think that they might win the next 2 and just close it out 6-2 or 4-2 in 6 games and just get ready for the next series, especially now that it looks like AD is hurt. The Lakers are a little weak. The West might be opening up a little bit for them.
Yeah. I mean, I was going against myself, but I've told you since the beginning of the West, I like the Clippers to take the West.
Yeah.
They were plus like 230 or 250 when we said it.
Yep.
And I'm still riding with that.
Yeah.
I think
they're still right around there.
Yeah, after the first 2 games, I was a little skeptical, but I think the last 2 games, they found themselves a little bit, as I mentioned in the previous podcast. I think they're starting to buy into what they need to do to win. Kawhi Leonard, I think, is deserving of another chip. I don't think Paul George is. But I think Kawhi deserves another one, and I think truthfully, man, I think this is their year. They get to that finals, and if they play the Nets, they're the one team that I could look at all the teams in the NBA and say they have a shot to beat the Nets. You know what I mean? Not that they can 100%. There's not one other team in the league that I'm looking at them and be like, yeah, the Nets are going to win that series.
Yeah.
Just rake them off.
Yeah.
But the Clippers are the one team I think can get it done.
Yeah.
And I see them breezing through the West, especially if AD's done and the Lakers don't have a shot. I just don't see one team competing with them. So
yeah. I mean, they're either gonna have. I'm not sure if they're gonna have the Jazz next or Denver next. I'm not sure what the seeds are.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't think either one of those teams are giving too much of a problem.
No, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters to them. I think they might lose a game or two just to figure themselves out on how they need to win the games that they need to.
Yeah.
But back to this matchup specifically, I just don't think. The Mavericks are good. Luka Doncic is an absolute beast, but
they just live or die by the shooting. And it's like if they're not shooting, Tim Hardaway I think had 4 points last game.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not scoring, if they're not shooting the ball well, they're not going to be getting to the rim like some of these other teams.
And we've talked about it too. Like Tim Hardaway, I forgot who we were speaking about the other day.
Yeah.
But Tim Hardaway is like their third
Offensive.
option, second option. Yeah. Truthfully, he's nice.
Yeah.
Dude can score the ball, but he's not a second option or a third option on a championship team.
And like the other day,
realistically, he's a 6-man.
Yeah, it would be a great six-man on a championship team.
Exactly.
For sure. He would come in for the second unit and then he would get his shots up, right?
Yep.
The Luka the other night we were talking about, he had 7 threes. I think it was plus 1,100. Last game, he had 1 3-pointer.
Yeah.
So it's just
how many did he take?
He took 7.
7, yeah.
Yep. So he's 1 for 7 from 3. Tim Hardaway 0 for 4.
Well, if you watch this game, I watched a little bit of the highlights of it.
Yeah.
What they were doing is in the first couple games, they were just switching.
Yep.
The pick and roll with Luka, and Luka was getting Zubac on him.
Yeah.
What they were doing this last game was just double teaming and then scrambling out.
Right,
so they
would to cover whoever the last guy.
Yeah, so what they were figuring out is Zubac's going to set the pick.
Yeah.
All right, let's double Luka and give the ball to Zubac.
Yeah.
Let him make a play.
Yeah.
Rather than
give the ball to someone else on the
or Max Kleber. That's what they were doing.
Give it to
whoever was setting the pick, and then later in the game they tried to set the pick with Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yep.
And then they were just switching that, and that matchup's a little bit different because you're switching off a 2-guard instead of it being Zubac playing defense. You know what I mean?
Right, more guard on guard, especially with a smaller guard. Luka's a little bit bigger. He could. It's a totally different matchup.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just really don't think that this. I mean, at this point, I think the Mavericks had their chance. They were up 2-0 going back to Dallas, and they kind of blew it. They lost both games.
Yeah.
And now their series is even. It's a best of 3 now at this point, and 2 games are in LA. So.
Yeah. And correction on that, I was saying Zubac was making the play off it, but I meant Kleber or whoever else that was setting the pick for them.
Yeah.
And it was just, it changed the game.
Yeah.
It changed the game. And even Porzingis, he's a pick and pop type guy.
Yeah.
But what they were doing was having the off defensive guy sag in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he would catch that and then they would just shift.
Yeah.
And then people would have to scramble a little bit on defense, but you make it a tougher shot that way.
Yeah, and look at who you're scrambling to. It's Finney-Smith, Kleber, whoever else is out there.
Exactly.
Even if it's Hardaway Jr., it's like, okay.
It's all right. We'll live with that.
Yeah.
Especially if we can get a hand on it.
Yeah, I mean, he went 1 for 8 from the field, so
you're
happy with that. It's been much lower scoring over the last 2 games. And I think that's really it, is that the Clippers have found out what they need to do defensively.
Yeah.
And it just completely changed the series.
Definitely.
They know what they are. They're a defensive team first, in my opinion, with Paul George and
Kawhi Leonard.
Yep. And then you just let the offense come to you a little bit. I think they've kind of figured it out. And
they got enough talent to score the ball, but you need to work hard on defense. That's the difference.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our picks because I think that, we have some interesting picks tonight. I mean, with each game, kind of, I think there's just so many options on FanDuel that the chances are we're going to have some of these more interesting bets.
Yeah.
So, for tonight's first game, we both got 2 different ones. None of us are taking a spread. None of us are taking an over-under.
No, I think, and to your point, the bets that are interesting to us are ones Greg's talked about this before on previous podcasts, where it's like we believe in the outcome of a game, right? We see a game and we think it's going to become a certain way just from our analysis and our research that we've done.
Yeah, and what we're seeing.
And what FanDuel is able to offer with all their options gives you a little bit more of value to it.
Yeah.
So just to break down, because I'll let people know my pick is the Knicks Atlanta game, first quarter.
Yeah.
It's called a try bet on FanDuel. So if you go into the app, you go to first quarter, it'll say first quarter try bet. And my bet is for either team. Essentially, the first quarter needs to end with either team winning by 3 or less points.
Yeah, it's got to be close. So you're hoping for a close first quarter.
Close first quarter.
Yeah.
And truthfully,
Knicks could be up 2, Hawks could be up 2, doesn't matter.
My mindset was to take the Knicks money line in the first quarter. I don't like them necessarily to win the game, but I expect them to come out with a little bit of energy compared to the way they've played in the past.
Yeah.
And I still expect this first quarter to be close. So if it's a 1, 2, or 3 point game, whoever's winning, I win the bet. And the odds are what? Plus
175.
Plus 175. So that's a little bit more value to me.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was interested in taking the Knicks, and I think their line for the first quarter was like minus 0.5.
Yeah,
so pretty much just a half point. So I like that just to be a close first quarter. And why not take the extra $85 that they're going to give me, or $75, whatever it is. So that's where you can research it, find these bets on FanDuel, and I suggest doing so because Greg also has some good picks that
to your
add
point,
some value.
Yeah, and to your point, like we kind of look at the outcome of the game or the outcome of the quarter, the half, whatever it is, and we kind of think about what we think is going to happen, and then we look for the best bet possible. So tonight I think the Hawks are going to win. They're up 3-1. They've won in New York already. They could have won 2 in New York if they didn't choke away game 2. So, again, to your point, looking at the line for the game, I think it's +1, -1. So you're looking at, Hawks +1. That doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, granted, it might be a 1-point game, but I'm kind of betting that it's not here because I actually really think the Hawks might blow it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet 1 unit on win margin. So this is full game win margin. Hawks to win by 1 to 10 points is +195.
Okay.
So for every 100 I'm betting, I'm going to win 195. And the reason why I set this bet up like that, we were talking about it a little bit before the stream. So what it's going to do is hopefully if it is the Hawks winning, it's going to kind of cover my other bet. So my other bet's going to be half a unit.
Okay.
So it's going to be half a unit, Hawks to win by 11 or more, and that's +420.
Okay.
So I'm going to be essentially betting $150 to win between $195 and $210, depending on whichever way this game shakes out. So that's, it's not a ton of money, but again, it's a little bit better than even money.
So essentially you're going to win either...
they're going to win $145 on the 1 unit one because I'll win $195 and I'll lose $50 on my other bet. Or on the $50 bet, I'll win $210 and I'll lose $100. So I'll win $120.
Okay.
So I'm in that range of that, $145 to $210.
I think that's good value because, like you were mentioning, if you just take the Hawks for $100 to win by the spread, you win $100. But now if they win,
which I think is which the line is 1 point, so it's pretty much
as long as they win the game. Because you have it 1 to 10, and then you have it 11 plus. So all they need to do is win the game, and you're going to win money. So it's better than the money line. And it's better than the spread. Without a doubt. Because actually it's +2 on the spread, but either way. So you think they're going to win the game, you would take them money line. So you're getting just better value.
And I really do think I really do think the 11 plus is gonna hit. We kind of talked about it earlier. It looks like I'm the only one with a pick on Washington, Philly, and this might be just like a kind of like a heat check thing. But we talked about all the favorites. I have a couple favorites later tonight, but I do like Washington in this one. I think with Embiid being out, I think Washington has a chance to come in here and kind of surprise Philly a little bit.
Okay.
And to your point too earlier, I think Washington has looked good offensively in this series. I think that they just haven't had an answer defensively.
Yeah.
Specifically for Joel Embiid. I mean, he's averaging a ton of points in these last couple of games. And now that he's not there, you're talking about Dwight Howard. You're talking about people don't even know about.
Yep.
So, I think that they have a much better chance at winning this game outright, but I'm just going to take it +6.
Okay.
This way it gives me a couple extra points, gives me a little breathing room.
Definitely.
If it comes down to a last-second bucket, I'm okay with that because that should get me the win. So,
yeah.
So that's what we got for Washington, Philly. Memphis, Utah. So let's talk about yours because I think those are kind of interesting. So this is another one where I was saying earlier when we were kind of recapping it, I'm having a tough time getting a read on exactly how I want to go about this pick.
Yep.
And when you kind of have a tough time getting a read, what do you look at? Do you look at like where the money is? Do you just go right to player props?
Well, first I always look at where the money is.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I look at, because more than what people believe, there's also like a competitive nature that I think most people have, especially when you're an athlete and you play in any sport.
Okay.
So this game's obviously a must-win game.
Yeah.
For the Grizzlies, right? It's either that or they go home.
Yeah.
And I don't see them as the type of team that just like gives up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that at all from them this year. I think they're a hard-nosed basketball team. They play tough basketball. So I think that they're going to come out and their players are going to put together good performances.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have Dylan Brooks 4+ rebounds at +120.
Yeah.
He's gotten he got 5 one game in the series, and then he got like 2, 1, and 3.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to come out and play a much better overall game.
Yeah. Especially
defensively. And then I think rebounding the ball, he's going to come in and put together some boards because that's what he's going to need to do to help the team.
Yeah.
And then also I'm putting a little bit of money on Kyle Anderson, 4+ assists.
Yeah.
Both of these plays are getting 1 unit from me.
Okay.
I think Kyle Anderson is just a creative basketball player in general. A slower...
not really a scorer.
Not really a scorer. He's a playmaker. He's a slow, I'm trying to think of the word, but either way, he's looking to create for others, and he's very methodical.
Methodical
is the word.
Yeah.
He has a very, he knows what he's doing with the ball, and he's going to take it slowly to get there. You ain't stealing the ball from him.
Yeah.
But he's going to make sure it gets done, and he creates for others. He's looking to pass the ball. He's got shooters around him. Yep. So I think 4+ assists is going to be, I think it's a lock for him tonight too. That's why I'm taking both those player props. Just because I don't, as much as I think the Grizzlies are going to come out and play a good game. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to play tough, but I just don't think the Jazz really give a fuck, and they're going to dominate them.
They're just a better team.
Yeah, they're just a better team overall. Yeah.
But to your point, like everyone's going to need to do everything tonight if you're Memphis. It's not just scoring. You're going to have to rebound. You're going to have to get assists.
Exactly.
You're going to have to play a complete team game.
Yep.
If you're going to win tonight.
And I just don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough either. I'm sticking with the trend of the favorites. We talked about it last episode. Favorites are hitting at a much higher clip than expected.
Yep.
They're expecting it to be in a 50 to 60% range. I think it was at 78% going into last night's episode. Yep. It's now even higher because the favorites all won last night again, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So I'm sticking with the Jazz -9.5. I just think with Mitchell back, he could have played game 1. They chose not to play him. He's got a little bit of extra rest, and I think now he's just finding his groove, and the whole team's finding their groove. We talked about it before. Clarkson's playing well. Mm-hmm. Everyone's playing well on their team. So I like the Jazz -9.5. And then for the late game for Dallas Clippers, I'm in the same boat. I was on the Mavericks. I keep calling Memphis Mavericks. Early in the series, and I was right early, and now I've been wrong lately, so I'm switching on it. I'm going back to the favorites winning. I'm taking the Clippers. They're home -7.5. I think it's going to be low scoring, so I was kind of looking at the under again for this game.
Yep.
But I'm just going with straight up the Clippers -7.5. Again, for all of these spread bets that I'm putting in, it's just 1 unit on each of those.
Yep. So that's where I'm going to go with my next bet. It's a little bit I just see the value in it because I'm with you on the favorites thing. I think the Clippers have done their job.
Yep.
I think the Mavericks are going to try to keep it close for as long as they can tonight. I just don't think that's going to happen really into the second half. So the way I'm playing this, and if anyone's tailing my bets out there, obviously I'm putting 1 unit on the first 3 bets that I've made.
Yep.
But this third bet I have, I'm going to do 1.5 units. So if you're a $100 bettor, I'd put 150 on the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
I know I put half unit on there, but I'm structuring this a little bit differently than what I thought. So I'm going to do 150 on win margin for the Clippers first half, 1-5.
Okay.
150 on them 6-10.
Yep.
You get those odds at 350
and 380.
And 380.
Yep.
And then I'm doing $50 on them to be up 11 plus in the first half, and that's plus 500. So essentially, what I'm thinking is, I think it's going to be right around what the spread is.
Yep.
I think that it's going to be a close first half, but the Clippers are going to be up by 5-7.
Yep.
So if that hits, I win a good amount of money.
Yeah.
But if they end up blowing them out, which I think can happen,
you're still
I cover
betting
my
enough
bets.
to cover it. Yeah.
I cover my bets. So that's how I'm looking at it. And it's a little bit riskier of a bet.
Sure.
Because the Mavericks could come out and play a tough first half. I just truthfully don't see that happening.
Yeah.
If you want, I would say screw all those bets and just put 150 on the Clippers first half.
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah.
But I see the
I think it was 4.5 was the spread.
Was the spread for the first half. If you want to just put 150 on it instead of risking the 350 that I'm gonna.
Yeah.
But that's what I see the value in, because if I hit one of those 350 to 380s,
you're up good money.
I'm up a good 250 off it, minus the other 2 bets that I would lose. So I just see the value in that, and I think, I'm hoping for another sweep tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it going. I think that part of this is kind of looking at everything that FanDuel has to offer. I think there's we're talking about trying to do a topic every episode, every other episode, whatever it might be. We didn't have a formal topic for tonight, but I think just the way the bets kind of shaked out is kind of like, if I had to give this a topic for this episode, it would be just kind of looking at alternate ways to bet what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I think the Hawks are going to win, so I found a different way of that. You think the first quarter of the Hawks game is going to be close, you found a different way to bet that. You think that the Clippers are going to be up at the halftime, you found a different way to bet that, all with the hopes of winning more than you would have if you just bet it straight as a parlay.
Exactly.
Or straight as a spread.
And I think what my goal today was, and I'm sure it was yours as well, is we're looking to just keep bringing content out.
Yep.
And we want to put our picks out because we feel it gives some people an edge. It might give them a little bit more of reassurance in what they're thinking, because if you're believing in the same picks we are and we're, doubling up, then hopefully, you end up placing those bets and we can all win money together. But our idea of this is just to get the content out to you guys as frequently as possible.
Yep.
And hopefully we can build something up that, we look forward to each day, and we can end up interacting with more and more people as we move forward.
Yeah.
So.
All right, cool, man. I mean, that's another good episode. I think later in this week we're going to try to have a couple of guests on for the first time.
Yeah, I think.
We're going to try to line those up and get that working.
Yeah, we got a couple professional handicappers, guys that do this for a living that we've been in discussions with, and we're hoping to have them on, if not this weekend, next weekend. We just got to work out some of the logistics to it. So we're hoping to get them potentially face to face. If not, it'll just be a phone call and have them come on in on the show.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about it all the time, but again, find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Interact with us. That's how we talk with these guys, is just interacting on Twitter, interacting on Instagram. Yep. If you're in New York State, if you're in upstate New York, let us know. We'd love to have you in.
Yeah. If you ever go to the casinos, as we've mentioned in the past, we're going to be doing some of our podcasts live from resorts or from rivers, because we have some connections at those casinos. So hopefully we can get in there. And if you ever want to come by and get on the pod, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, and just let us know. Give us a comment. Give us a like. Let us know what you're thinking for tonight's bets or any future bets that you have. And if you want to jump on the pod, come jump on the pod. We're trying to grow this community. We're trying to talk to as many people as we can. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, look forward to the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment,
Yeah.
and we look forward to the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.